Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me everyday makeup look tutorial kind of video. I am really excited about some of the product combinations and new products that I've been using lately, so I kind of wanted to document this look that I've been wearing every day for probably over the last week, and I just really love it, so I wanted to share it with you guys. And if you want to see my favorite everyday makeup look that I've been wearing recently, then just keep watching. So first up is my foundation combination, and I'm still loving the Lawless Woke Up Like This foundation. You've seen in previous videos I talked about mixing this with my Osmosis Performance Wear Satin Foundation, and mine is almost running out. So I wanted to save this because when I'm a little tanner, I do wear this on its own. So I felt like I was going through it kind of fast, mixing it in with my Lawless foundation. So I started trying to mix this with a couple bronzing products, and I actually was mixing it with something different for a little bit. I had been mixing it with my By Terry Cellular Rose Brightening CC Serum. This is the one in the shade Sunny Flash that everyone kind of talks about. And this is a beautiful product. I really love this product. It's great. I've worn this on its own on no makeup days. I've worn this under foundation and now mixed in with foundations. The only thing that I was not liking about this is when I mixed it in with this foundation, it was kind of drying me out. It's kind of getting a little colder and more wintry here, so my skin needed more hydration. Even though I do have oily skin, my skin was still getting greasy throughout the day, but just afterwards, like when I'd be washing my face, I'd just notice that my skin was kind of getting dehydrated, and I think it was from this. So I wanted something a little different to mix in, so I went for my Drunk Elephant D-Bronzi Anti-Pollution Sunshine Serum, and this is basically just a healthy version of the By Terry. I'm not sure the price difference, but the By Terry has fragrance in it. It's just not as healthy for your skin, even though it is kind of classed as a skincare product. And Drunk Elephant, of course, is a much healthier, more natural, kind of skincare friendly kind of brand. So I decided to try mixing this in with my foundation, and I've been loving the combination, so I'll stop blabbing on, and this is the combo that I'm going to be using. So what I do is I take one full pump of the D-Bronzi serum, and then I balance it out with one full pump of my Lawless foundation. So I just do that on the back of my hand. If you have a little makeup palette, you can use that as well. And then I just take my damp beauty blender and mix those together and make sure they're nice and combined and that I get a nice even color there. So once everything's kind of mixed up and in my beauty blender, I kind of start out and use this product on my forehead, my nose, and my chin, and I just kind of blend this in with the beauty blender. I'm also normally someone who always applies my eye makeup first and then my foundation because I don't like fallout and all that, and I just feel like that's the proper way to do it. But lately for everyday makeup, I've been applying foundation first, and it's just kind of fun to switch it up, but I would recommend if you're using shadows with more fallout, definitely do your eye makeup first. Okay, so the chin, the forehead, and the nose are done, so I'm going to take one more pump of each of those again, so one more pump of the D-Bronzi and one pump of the Lawless and blend those together. I also find that combining the Lawless with this serum kind of shears out the coverage ever so slightly. This is a really nice medium to full coverage, and you can really build this up to a super full coverage foundation. And for me, I love a full coverage look, but right now I'm not actually having too many breakouts and my skin is looking pretty good, so I'm okay with kind of a sheerer bit of coverage. But if you need more full coverage, or if you have something that you're looking to cover, I would just go in with the full-on Lawless by itself. So I'm going to use that on the cheeks and then down on the neck as well, where I have several blemishes, and just to make sure that the color blends evenly from the face and the neck. Don't want to look like I'm wearing a mask. Foundation is done, and now moving on to concealer. I've still been loving my collection, what's it called? Or no, sorry, Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer, but I was recently reminded of my love for my Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer, and this, I think, just because of the tone of this, the shade I have is 1C, which has kind of like a peachy undertone, which normally I don't like. Normally I prefer kind of a more yellowy undertone, but because of this peachy undertone and the powder that I'm going to use to set it, I find that this concealer just really does a better job of canceling out dark circles. The Revolution one does a better job of kind of brightening and gives them that more full coverage Tarte Shape Tape kind of look. But this Laura Mercier concealer, I think, gives a really nice full coverage, but does more of a camouflaging look without giving that quite as thick, cakey concealer look under the eyes, so I've just kind of rekindled my love for this product and I've been using it every day. So the concealer is blended out. I use my damp beauty blender as you saw to do that, and then I also just kind of dab the excess up onto my eyelids to kind of even those out a little bit. Normally I use a dedicated eyeshadow primer, but today I've been going for quickness recently and just using my concealer on my eyelids, which means that they're definitely going to crease throughout the day, but for the sake of time, I've just been liking doing this better. So now I'm going to take a product that's going to really help with these dark circles as well, and this is the Lawless Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder, but this is the Brightening translucent shade, which is, again, a little peachy toned, kind of like my concealer. So I'm just going to make sure I don't have any creases under the eyes here, and then pick this up with my beauty blender as well, and quickly set under the eyes before any creases form. And I think the combination of this concealer and powder just has really been making my under eyes look super bright and fresh, and I've just been loving it. And then I'm also going to take a little bit more of that powder just on the tops of the eyelids to kind of set the powder down there and make sure that there's a nice even base there. Even though I'm not going to do a whole lot of eyeshadow, I just like my eyelids to kind of look fresh as well, because they can get kind of dark on me and make me look tired. And then I'm just going to quickly use my beauty blender to make sure the rest of my foundation is still kind of blended in how I like before I set it into place. And I'm going to take another shade of that Lawless Seal the Deal setting powder. Obviously, I really love this powder. This is just their classic translucent shade, just kind of the plain, more ivory toned one. And I'm going to pick that up also on my beauty blender and set my T-zone this way. I really like doing this on the nose. If you're like me and you get really greasy there right away, kind of baking it like this, it really helps keep the oil at bay, and I just love the finish I get. And I just do this on my kind of really oily areas, which tend to be like my nose, right between my eyes here, and then around my chin area as well, because then the whole face doesn't look super cakey. Like, I'll just kind of lightly dust it on the cheeks, but these areas that kind of tend to crease and get really greasy right away are just like a little bit more locked in place. So now that those are set with the beauty blender, I'm just going to take the rest of the powder on a big fluffy brush and just kind of set the rest of my face, which is really just the cheeks and the forehead. Now for bronzer, I have two that I've kind of been alternating between, and one is my old standby, which is the Becca Capri Coast Sunlit bronzer, which I've definitely hit pan on, and I just absolutely love this shade. And I use that with my Real Techniques Duo Fiber brush if I'm going to use that. And the other option, which I won't use today because I don't want to like Lawless overload you, is the other Lawless Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder in the shade Golden Translucent, and I apply that with my NARS Yachio Kabuki brush. I really like this as well. It's a really nice kind of deep, slightly orangey tone, but I can still wear it even though I'm so fair. And it's just a really nice bronzer, but I find like recently when I'm rushing in the morning, using a loose bronzer just takes a lot more time for me instead of just a pressed one where I can quickly kind of swirl my brush and just bronze up the whole face really fast, which is what I'm going to opt for today, because sometimes for these everyday makeup looks, I'm just really going for like the quick and dirty way to do it, you know? So I'm just really swiping the bronzer on quickly, and this is just my old standby favorite bronzer, so I just know it's gonna come out good. So in the mornings when, you know, I'm rushing to get ready for work and I just want to look presentable, but I don't want to like kind of mess around and like risk having my bronzer look too orangey or too shimmery or too dark or too light, I just like using kind of an old standby method that I like. So this is what I've been doing every day. But if I have more time, I'll definitely use the Lawless and just spend my time kind of bronzing up the whole face. And I'm sorry if the lighting's weird. I'm sitting in front of my window and it's really giving me some cool blinds lines across my face here, so hopefully that's not too distracting. So I'm also just going to take a little bit on my brush and pinch it together and then kind of lightly bronze down the sides of the nose just to slightly contour and warm up the center of the face. And if I'm really pressed for time in the mornings, I'll, in this same step, just brush some on my eyelids like that, but I'm going to actually go in with eyeshadow today, so I won't do too much there. So now that we're done with bronzer, we're going to move on to highlight. And again, my favorite highlight at the moment is still this Kylie Cosmetics Santorini loose highlighter. But loose highlighters, just like loose bronzers, I find just take more time and are just a little bit more finicky when you're rushing in the morning. So depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I've been switching between two pressed highlighters. And if I'm going for a more bronzy look, I'll use my Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade Molten Gold, which I really love. But I find that since I'm so fair, a lot of the times this can look really too dark on me. So I've been going back to a highlighter that I haven't really used in a while, and this is my Fenty Beauty Killawatt highlighter in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal, which is really pinky, and I just take my Morphe M501 brush and go dip in both sides and use this to highlight, and this is just a beautiful highlighter. I also be sure to take this into my inner corner at this stage. And that's it for highlighter, don't want to get too carried away. And then for blush, I've been using my Essence Satin Touch blushes, which I am still obsessed with, but I've been opting for this darker shade, which is number 20, Satin Love. I think the lighter one, which is number 10, is better for like more everyday lighter looks, but since it's getting colder out, I've been feeling bolder and like going for this darker blush, and I just like absolutely love these blushes. Something about them is just perfect. I'm just obsessed. These might be like my new all-time favorite blushes. This is definitely one of my favorite discoveries of the year makeup-wise. So I apply some of that and make sure my highlighter and bronzer are blended together nicely, and the face is done. And now onto eyes. I'm going to be using this Persona Color Theory Copper palette, which is their bronzy one. They came out with two of these. One's the pinky shades, and then this one is the coppery tones. And they did send this to me, which was incredible. I actually really love this, and these shades are really perfect if you have blue or green eyes like I do. And I was really mostly excited about this palette because of this off-white shade, actually. I love using a shimmery kind of off-white shade all over the lid. I know some people don't like to set the whole lid area with a shimmer, but I've just always personally liked that look. And years ago, Clinique had this perfect off-white shimmer shadow that I used every day for that purpose, and then they discontinued it, and I'm still not over it. So this is a really nice alternative. So I've been using this off-white shade on my big fluffy Sigma E40 brush and just swiping this literally all over my lid up to my brow bone. And if you don't like this shimmery look, I would just skip this step and leave your eyelids set with your setting powder, and then you won't have that shimmery look all over. But like I said, I'm into it. So I absolutely love how they look set like that. And then I'm going to take this light brown shade, which is the second one in there, on this same big fluffy brush, and just dust this in my crease. You've seen me do this 1,000 times. This is really the only kind of eye look I go for, just kind of setting the eyelid and then a mid-toned brown in the crease, and I just love this. It gives some definition and makes you look a little bit more put together. It kind of warms up the eye area to match the bronzer all over the face, but it doesn't look like too much like you're trying too hard for an everyday makeup look, in my opinion anyway. But if you want to, that's fine. You can definitely do a full-on dramatic like eye with this palette. And I find with those two shadows, I do get a lot of fallout like in the pan. When I press the brush in there, there is a lot of powder that comes off, but I don't find that I have a problem like under my eye with powder fallout that much, so that's why I feel okay doing my foundation first and then my eye look. But if you're using different shadows, like I said, do your eyes first. And then for lashes, I've gone back to my L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara. This is the non-waterproof one, which I like better than the waterproof one actually. And for an everyday makeup look, I just apply my mascara on the upper lashes, not on the bottom lashes. To me, it's just a little bit more effortless and easy of a look, but still kind of brings that definition to the eyes. And also, if I have more time in the morning, I will do a cat eye. I'll get out my eyeliner, but on most days I just don't have the time, or I don't want to spend the time doing my eyeliner, so I just kind of stick with mascara only. And just a warning with this Lash Paradise mascara, because the wand is so fluffy, when it's new like mine is, it does kind of tend to get messy. I don't know if you can see it on my upper lash line. It did smudge there, so I'll wait for that to dry and try to swipe it off later. But on mornings when I'm really rushed, honestly, I just leave it like that. Moving on to brows, I'm still like totally using this every day. This is the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil in the shade Brunette. And I just love this. It has a nice sturdy spoolie on the end. And this brunette shade is just the perfect tone for my eyebrows. It's nice cool toned brown. So I just quickly fill them in with this. And to set my brows, I'm using my Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Mascara, and this is in the shade 3, which is Soft Brownie Brows. And honestly, I just can't tell the difference between drugstore and high-end brow gel, so I really like this one, and I'm going to keep using it. This is probably my favorite at the moment. I've been reaching for it every day. Last step is lips, and honestly, I've been on a nude lipstick from the drugstore buying spree at the moment. I probably have like almost 10 new nude lipsticks that I bought recently because I just keep seeing them look amazing on other people, and then I have to have them, and then it's like, oh, this is only $3, $5, $7, $10, and then it all just kind of adds up. So I need to cool it. But my favorite lip product at the moment is drugstore price point, but not necessarily from the drugstore. It's from Morphe, and this is their lip gloss. What is this? It doesn't even say, and I don't have the box anymore. But I think it's one of their lip glosses in the shade Flower Crown. I'm not sure if it has a fancier name other than lip gloss, but it's a lip gloss. The packaging is actually really beautiful on this, so it feels more luxurious than, I think this was only $7 or $8, I wanted to say. Maybe it was $8, which to me is a totally affordable, like great price point for a lip gloss. And the only thing I'm a little fooled by is, since this is like a huge glass packaging, I feel like there's actually not that much product in there, but that's okay because how often do you really go through a lip product? And for $8, I still think it's worth it. Anyway, I'll stop blabbing and show you what it looks like on. And that's it for the lips. As you can see, it's just like a really nude, light, pale, like nudie gloss, but this is definitely like an opaque gloss. This kind of gloss I have a love-hate relationship with because this looks absolutely beautiful, but it's one of those ones where you have to actually look while you're applying it. It's not just like nice and sheer and glossy. It has that like opaque color to it. So if you get too much, like I have here, you can kind of like start to get those lines on the edge of your lip gloss where it's just like obvious that you have too much on. So it's one of those ones that you have to be a little bit careful with, but I just love the color. I love how it looks, and I've been rocking this every day. It's also super moisturizing. It like doesn't dry my lips out at all, which is something that a few of the other ones I've bought recently have disappointed me on, because then I'll be reapplying them throughout the day and my lips just get kind of chapped and flaky, and that's just not cute. And that's it for this everyday makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this look. I've been absolutely loving all these products like recently, and I love how the whole look came out. I especially love this lip gloss and this like base combination with the like bronzing serum and the foundation. I think it matches my skin tone really well, but still kind of makes me look glowy. And I just love this blush and highlighter. Honestly, I'm just obsessed with all these products, so I hope you got some good recommendations for some cool makeup products to try out. As always, everything I used I'll list in the description box down below if you missed any of the names. I also upload 2 days a week on Monday and Thursday, so please subscribe right here if you haven't already so that you don't miss my next video, and thank you so much for watching.